1968 was a tumultuous year in the United States. It would see the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, and widespread protests in cities against racism and the war in Vietnam. This ad for the Up With People concert at the War Memorial ran in the Post-Standard on the day of the concert, April 30, 1968. Had it with hippies, burnt out on beatniks, was how the clean-cut, wholesome concert was marketed. Copyright 2004 Heritage microfilm. Young people found their voice and were instrumental in leading protests in the streets and on college campuses. But there was a growing backlash to the protests among people who Richard Nixon would later call the silent majority. On April 30, 1968, the same day that 720 Columbia University students were arrested at a sit-in, the Onondaga County War Memorial had a concert that catered to that audience. Up With People, an organization which promoted goodwill and community service, promised a clean-cut and wholesome concert. The Herald American called Up With People a demonstration of songs instead of signs, fun instead of fault-finding, hailed as a sing-out explosion. The group starred 180 high school and college students, described as non-hippie and clean-cut, who were rebelling against cynicism and slipshod morality. Their songs were about compassion, understanding, humor and patriotism. Begun about 2 years before in Mackinac, Michigan, Up With People's basic principle was described by the Herald American as a determination on the part of youth to take a responsible part in the task of society and nation building. They were seen across the country, in stadiums, campuses and auditoriums, and had done concerts around the world. More than 100 million people had witnessed their shows on television. The cast for the Syracuse show would be made up of 180 youths, representing 45 states and 26 countries, selected for their talent and leadership. Up With People had 3 groups traveling in the U.S. at a time. In an April 27, 1968 article, the Post-Standard wrote that the group had become the answer to the contrasting image established by hippies, draft card burners and rioters. The group's print advertisements asked potential audience members if they were burnt out on beatniks and had it with hippies. Their 2-hour performance promised 30 of the group's original songs, including I Want to Be Strong, The New Tomorrow, What Color Is God's Skin, and You Can't Live Crooked and Think Straight. For 2 days prior to their concert, the cast would visit city and county school, performing an abbreviated version of their sing-out. During their stay in Syracuse, the group's members would be housed in private homes, including at the residences of Syracuse's own local version of Up With People, Sing Out Syracuse. The local organization was formed by the Rev. John Morse, assistant pastor at St. Anne's Church on Onondaga Boulevard. They had performed for over 20,000 people in the Syracuse area by April 1968 and had appeared with Lionel Hampton and the Lawrence Welk Stars at the New York State Fair. A clipping from the Up With People concert at the War Memorial on April 30, 1968. Copyright 2004 Heritage microfilm. A Post-Standard editorial on the day of the concert urged people not to miss it. If you would renew your faith in the younger generation, this concert is one of the best ways of doing so. Syracuse is fortunate to have the singers here, it said. More than 7,000 people turned out for the show, including the city's mayor, William Walsh. If the Up With People cast of youths leaves its audiences with just a fraction of its vitality, goodwill and plug into something positive feeling, the world will be a better place to live in, said the Post-Standard's review. The group's singers appeared clean and scrubbed, in their blue, green and red jumpers with white blouses for the girls and blue or gold suit jackets for the boys. An Italian medley from their recent 2-month visit there, a Korean dance and Hawaiian songs gave the concert an international feeling. Up With People pulls an audience like a magnet. It's all energy, vitality and sheer goodwill, the paper's review concluded. The group is still performing to this day, in the United States and around the world. The group achieved its most notoriety for being the halftime entertainment at 4 Super Bowls between 1976 and 1986. Cheers! Syracuse women legally voted for first time 100 years ago this week. This feature is a part of CNY Nostalgia, a section on Syracuse.com. Send your ideas and curiosities to Jonathan Croyle, email 315-427-3958.